This video will take you through the process of configuring DocumentX 2010 to use a source control provider for source control features, and we'll give you an idea of how you can add projects to source control, open them from source control, and to use the source control integration features within DocumentX 2010. So the first step down my road to source control would be to configure DocumentX so it knows which provider, source control provider, I'm going to use. So I'm going to go into DocumentX options here, and on the source control provider page I've chosen the Microsoft Team Foundation server as my source control provider, and you could obviously choose from the list of supported providers there, depending on which source control provider you want to use. So for Team Foundation server I need to identify the server name that I'm going to connect to, so I'm just going to identify that in here. And I'm also going to just quickly test the source control connection to make sure I haven't typed the server name wrong, something like that. Okay, so that's all good. So I'm going to close down the options now, and what I should see on my application button, if that went okay, is the Open from Source Control command is now available to me there. But I've got ahead of myself a little bit there because I haven't yet got any projects that I've added to source control. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new project. I'm going to base it on the .NET sample. Click OK to create the new project. Okay, so I now have a brand new project with some content in it based on one of the samples, and I'm going to go straight away to add that project to source control so that I can enable the source control features in DocumentX 2010. So again, from the application menu here I've got a new option, add to source control, and I'm going to select that, and that brings up a dialog in which I can see the tree of projects that already exist in my source control server that I've connected to. So I'm going to create a new folder in source control in which to store my project. So I've created a new folder in source control, and I'm going to click OK to go ahead and add the project to source control. So as soon as the project has been added to source control, it's reopened and the source control features are now enabled within the project. So the source control functionality is pretty unobtrusive in the DocumentX IDE. It's available for all sorts of different items on the Project Explorer here. On the context menu, check in and undo checkout. And the little indicators beside the icons for items also tell me whether I've got those items currently checked out or not. And just to demonstrate what happens if I haven't got an item checked out currently, if it's not currently editable, if I go to the Tools tab on the ribbon, and I'm going to check the whole project in so that I'm kind of at an initial state without anything currently checked out for edit, and you can see these banners appear indicating to me that these aspects of the project are currently not checked out for edit, and if I wanted to go ahead and edit them I could just click the button next to the error. So for example, I've got this topic selected on the Project Explorer here, and the properties window is telling me I can't change anything in the properties window until I check it out for edit. So I can just click on that button in any of those banners, and you can see the indicator next to the topic now tells me that it's checked out now, and I can make changes as normal within the properties window. So the same idea applies to the topic editor itself. So if I open this second topic, it's currently checked in for edit, the banner tells me that that's not currently checked out, and in order to make changes I'd need to check that out. So if I try and bash the backspace key or cut some information out here, I'm not going to be allowed to do that until I've checked this particular topic out for edit. And then at the end of the day, once I've made all the changes that I want to make in my project, I can access the project-wide source control functionality from the ribbon tab here. So at the end of the day I'm ready to check in my my changes, and I can check in the whole project at once, which is the fastest way to do that, or I can select specific items that I currently have checked out that I want to check in to source control. So I'm just going to check in that topic I checked out earlier, and there we are. So the other team members that are working in your environment might want to get access to that project you've added to source control, and the way they do that is in a similar way to you'd open a local project. There's a secondary open option now on the application menu here, open from source control, and you'd use that same tree structure we saw earlier to select the project in source control that you wanted to open up, and you'd identify the local project, the local directory in which you wanted to store your local copy of that project. And so another team member on another machine could open up the project in the same way as I've got the project open here, and they would have access to these source control integration features for change tracking, version history, so on and so forth, through the source control provider that you've chosen. So that concludes this short demonstration on how to get up and running with source control integration features in Document X 2010.